Hey there, welcome to VisDis Gaming. As always, I'm your host, John. We've got an absolute banger of a game to review for you today. We're going to be looking at I Expect You to Die by Shell Games on PSVR. So, original release date for this one was 2016 December. Released on PSVR February 2017. Let's have a look at the blurb from the makers. So, I Expect You to Die is a virtual reality escape the room puzzle type game that lets you step into the world of an elite secret agent, survive a series of deadly situations in dangerous locales, complete each mission using bravery, cunning, and a top secret device that gives you the power of telekinesis. Your mission awaits. So without further waffle, let's get straight on in with the review then. So looking at innovation and gameplay, I Expect You to Die is a game that has you playing as a top secret agent trying to defeat your arch nemesis Dr. Zor. The gameplay is set over 7 different environments. We've got Friendly Skies, Squeaky Clean, Deep Dive, Winter Break, First Class, and then added some time later by Shell as free DLC. We have Seat of Power and Death Engine, and if you watch the video all the way through, I'm going to give you some footage of each one of these environments because they're absolutely gorgeous. The game certainly lives up to its title, having you play the same level many times over as one wrong action or inaction will see you depart this earth only to come back and try again from the start, and it really isn't as mundane as it seems, I promise you. The game also has quite an innovative ray tracing function to aid you when you're picking up and putting down items, because quite often you'll drop things behind other things only to lose them and never get them back. I've done that in other games. With this, you can actually see that you're able to sort of pick things up after you've dropped them behind things, and it's really welcome. Also, we've got the aid of telekinesis, so without flailing your arms around with your VR headset on like an octopus, you can bring items up close to you or further away just at the touch of a button. And on a side note with this as well, the opening video sequence for the game is truly amazing, and it rivals any Bond sort of intro. Honestly, it's amazing, and it's something to watch just on its own. For this, I'm going to give it a 9. Moving on with graphics then, so all of the locations and the interactive items are really well done, and for a 2016 game, everything just looks and feels on point. And when you compare this to the trailer for the sequel that's coming out, there's not a vast difference in graphic quality, and there really doesn't need to be. It's Did I mention the sequel? Oh, I should not have said that. I promised I wouldn't mention. Oh, that was top secret. I'm a crap agent. Moving on. So a good example of Shell's attention to detail, better than mine. Look at the revolver as an example, and you can see that the cylinder's rotating on this revolver. Does it need to do that for the purposes of the game? No, it doesn't, but they added it in there anyway. Attention to detail is an absolute fixation with these guys, I'm sure. For this, I'm going to give it a 9. Looking at sound, the game has its own dedicated theme tune that stands up to any of the earlier Bonds. It is really a piece on its own. The narrator's voice is really well done, compelling, and interjecting humour all the way. I absolutely love it. For this, it's getting a 9. Looking at immersion, putting together the gameplay, the graphics, the sound, the whole thing, it's easy to lose yourself in this game for hours trying to figure out how to pass the next part of the puzzle without dying or replaying something, and with the absolute grit determination that you're going to get onto the next part, and for this it's getting a 9. Looking at fun factor, this is certainly one game that definitely doesn't disappoint in that area. There's often more than one way to complete parts of the puzzle, and it's quite often open to improvisation of what you've got. Another well thought out part of the game as well is that you get lots of interactive stuff to use. Some of it you don't even need for the level, but it's there just to amuse you, and I absolutely love interactive stuff. It'll keep me going for hours. I'm like a child. For this, it's getting a 10. Longevity, and we all want things to last a little bit longer, so what's been good about I Expect You to Die is that Shell came back after they'd done 5 levels for this game and then just thought, well, you know, we need to give them a little more stuff. So they get some more free DLC. They didn't need to, but they did that, and we got the Seat of Power and Death Engine out of that. Absolutely great levels, and they stand up to any of the other previous levels. There was no disappointment there at all. A lot of thought has also gone into the extended playability of the game. Once you've actually completed the level, you can then go back through again, and there's 3 certain actions you can do per puzzle that'll get you more free stuff in your office to play around with, and we all love free stuff. And then on top of that as well, we're not done. You've then got speed runs for the game, and these are absolutely insane. Can you whittle down the process to complete the level without all the unnecessary steps in the allotted time? And these are a challenge, but they are doable if you really want it. And for this, it's going to get a 9. So moving on to the accessibility then. So I found this game not too difficult. In fact, it's one of the better ones. However, there were a few things, and I will mention them for anybody with sight loss, just to sort of bear in mind. The game completion slides. So when you sat in the office, you'll get a slide off the projector as you put the game in. And these give you information on what you need to complete or what you've already completed and the times you need to do the speed runs in. I couldn't see these at all. I couldn't make anything out of them. They were just too far away. There's no way of bringing them closer. And the only way I actually managed to actually get this to work for me was to get a friend in on SharePlay to read them out for me. And there's some interactions as well within the puzzles that are kind of set in the distance, and these can be a bit problematic for anybody with sight loss, and I did find that I did struggle with some of the far distance ones. However, these were few in number, and for the most part you are given endless amounts of time on the levels to move your aim controller around until it turns blue, indicating that you can interact with something. There's no difficulty settings for the game, and I do feel that this is one of those games that may have benefited by having a pause option, even just under maybe accessibility, to allow me time for reading, as there were a few parts of the game that required me to refer to written information in quite a timely manner, and it was a win or lose situation, and I found that those were particularly tricky, and I kind of got past those by having some help of somebody read them out to me off SharePlay again. But you know, I got there with it. So you know, it's a shame, but I'm going to give this an 8 because on the whole the game was very playable, and these are minor points, but you may want to consider them. Looking at tracking, you can use a DualShock 4 controller. However, the game is better enjoyed with the Move controllers. I'm not sure if you can use the DualSense, but I've had absolutely no tracking issues at all with this game. It's been faultless, and for that I'm going to give it a 10. Looking at ease of control, the game is easiest controlled with the Move controllers, because you've just literally got two virtual hands in front of you to move things around with. I did find a few minor things that I did have a few problems sort of interacting with, that they didn't work quite as intuitively as I'd expected. I'm not going to mention it because it's a bit of a spoiler. However, for this it's going to get a 9. So moving on to value for money then. So the game's retailing on the PlayStation Store for £19.99, which equates to $27, 23 euros, or 6 pints of beer. And I've got to be honest, I've seen this since I bought it on offer a few times, but it doesn't make me salty in any way, because I've absolutely enjoyed every minute of this game. I've played absolutely every part of it, completed everything, which is unusual for me, and I'd recommend it to anybody, but because it is probably one of the higher priced games in the reviews that I've done so far, it's going to get an 8. This is going to bring the total score out to 89, which is quite respectable. In fact, I think that's the highest score so far I've given a game that I've reviewed. So my final thoughts for the game then. So as VR puzzles go, this easily ranks in my top 2. It's a VR must-have. I've literally spent hours on this game. I've played it inside out. There is nothing left for me to do, and I've loved every minute of it. It's worth every penny, I promise you. Go out and get it, you won't be disappointed. If you've already enlisted in the fight against the evil Dr. Zor and you're desperately after some help to get you through some of these levels, I've got you covered as well. Check out my channel. I've got walkthroughs for the levels, for the collectibles, and I've also got all of the processes down for the speed runs as well, so you know, that'll get you through. And finally, Shell Games have just announced a follow-up to I Expect You to Die in I Expect You to Die 2, The Spy and the Liar. It's going to be with us in 2021 this year, and that's absolutely fantastic news. I can't wait for this to come out. The guys at Shell have also given me permission to give you a sneak peek at what's in store for us agents, but not too much of a sneak peek, because we can't have the evil Dr. Zor planning his defence. So this is going to be my next upload. Check it out. I promise it's going to be worth it. So let me know down in the comments as well, what was your favourite level? What would you like to see in I Expect You to Die 2? And as always, smack that like button as if someone's just called your mama fat. Tickle my subscribe button, and I'll be seeing you, or maybe not,